Heyo, I've been helping a couple of new players get into Mailgear Online and giving them some information on the side. That being said, I thought I'd just try and compile some of my thoughts into video form just for the benefit of multiple different new players. So I'm just going to put myself into a training mode just to explain some of the basics of CQC. Just give it a second to load here. I'm going to be using the skills CQC 1 and Scanner EX to explain the first idea. And their primary weapon doesn't really matter here, but I'm going to pick the MK2 and a magazine. Let me jump over to a particular choke point here. And this choke point here, this door, will also, everything I'll say to this other choke point will apply over here as well. This choke point is rather a good example, and is a bot really handy. So I'm going to pull this bot over to this door, just so I can help explain some of these concepts a little bit easier. Right, here he is. So just to go over the different context-sensitive actions that CQC has. When you do not have a CQC skill equipped, if you run into someone when using a weapon that's got CQC on its profile, like the stun knife, the MK2 or the magazine are unequipped, if you use the VZ it'll actually do a completely different animation. So that applies to all primaries, so pistol, knife, and your support weapons. So I'm going to put the knife for example here. If you run into someone and press R1, you will knock them to the floor. However, when you have CQC 1 or above equipped, if you press and hold, you'll grab them. And if you continue to hold, you will knock them out. And when someone's stunned in this game, they're completely at your mercy. In fact, if you grab them and pull them off the floor and drop them, their primary weapon will drop from their inventory. And this is an important idea for Team Sneak, where you only start with MK2 and knife and a support weapon. You don't get any access to a killing weapon, something, or like, you know, the VZ, the AK, the SVD, etc. Let's wake him up. And because you can grab people and hold them in place, this also opens up additional possibilities. So when you don't have the CQC skill equipped, what you would do most of the time is you would grab someone, knock them down. I missed them. But that's still the idea though, is you can grab someone, knock them down, aim down in first person with a knife, and hit them with the stun charge, which is the R2 on your knife, or kill them instantly with the hold R1. When you're using a knife, if you tap R1, you do this little slash, but if you hold, you do this lunge, which is an instant kill. And of course, because the R2 on the knife stuns people, they're completely at your mercy, as mentioned before. Let's wake them back up. So, because you can grab and hold people, this changes the usage of CQC, so you're not just slamming people to the floor anymore for quick knife kills. Instead, you can grab and hold. When you hold someone, you can actually make use of the scanner skill. And you can see in the kill feed it says Eagle Eye has scanned doll 7. This means that you can see this person through walls as if you're using skills like Narc or Monomania. And for each person that is SOP linked to your target, you'll see each of them through walls as well, which can in some cases give you complete map knowledge of where all the enemies are. Granted, the counterplay to this is not SOP linking. If you think someone on the enemy team might be running scanner, for instance, all the bots on the other side of the map are not SOP linked to this bot. That being said, it still doesn't hurt to go for this because it does get you points, and points do determine your place in the leaderboard at the end of games. and your leaderboard position does determine how much EXP you gain for level ups. So because you can grab and hold people and scan them, you can do something like this: grab, hold, scan, hold R1. Now this is the downside from using CQC 1, is the sheer amount of time it takes to knock someone out. And then you can headshot them. Actually, yes, I didn't mean to do it, I'm just might come up, but that's actually a good point to bring up now. When someone is stunned and you get Scanner EX, you don't need to be holding a target who's conscious. You can use the scanner on an unconscious target, and that's exclusive to Scanner EX. While the normal scanner ability can only be used on targets who are in your grasp. Meaning the usage of Scanner EX doesn't require CQC 1. And just to elaborate on why I chose this position on the map, if you do something like put down a magazine here, and this person's on the other side of the door, it's going to be very hard for them to assault this location. Because, you know, they could throw in grenades. That's true. They could throw in, you know, smoke grenades, stun grenades, grenades of any kind. That is a way to counterplay this type of positioning. But there is another type of counterplay they can do, where they can go into a box and it will negate the effect of the book as they pass it. That being said, this does open up some counterplay from your side. If they decide to go into a box and run at you, if you roll into a target who's in a box because they're in the crouched position, like this, they'll be knocked to the floor. And knocking someone to the floor basically puts them at your mercy if you can run at them quickly enough with a knife or headshot them. So just as a point of comparison, if I also drag this bot as if they entered this doorway and drop them on the book. So they have to pass the threshold for the door, and then they're stuck into this animation of checking the book. So if you were holding this position from back here, look how much leeway you have away from the door to avoid grenades. Now, with Scanner EX, because you can scan targets who are stunned, because he's stunned with the Mark II, he's a viable target to scan. And you did this by placing a book. The target chose to walk right in without checking, and you could be completely hidden back here, headshot them with the MK2, come over, scan them, and then finish them with a knife. So this kind of choke point holding is very effective if users of CQC of any level, and even without using the CQC skill, because you can still knock people down. You know, the classic combo of using first person aiming down, like that. Now you don't exclusively have to use first person aiming down to use a knife on someone. You can knock them down, use auto aim to get your next hit. That being said, if someone is knocked down with CQC and they do not move at all, there'll be an effect death animation like this. And when someone's in this animation, they cannot be targeted with auto aim. In that case, your knife would whiff and they have a chance to counterattack. So do keep that in mind if you decide to go for an auto aim after CQC hits. So it's gonna wake the spot back up. And there is also strategies where you can grab someone, let them go, and try and position yourself so whenever they get back up, their head is right where they're let go. This can be very difficult to do, and I wouldn't recommend this for new time players. I'm just going to very quickly go and change my skills to go over some other ideas. So it's going to be just one moment here. Doesn't really matter for the map now. I'm going to grab Blades Free. And I'm going to change the Sleep Gas Mine just to show off something that's a bit different than using the magazines. So the magazine traps someone in an animation where they're stuck checking the book, which can be quite powerful, but you can use a box and run over it, and you'll be completely unaffected by it, given some level of counterplay from the enemy team. That being said, with sleep gas mines, they cannot use a book to negate it. So you see the sheer radius of the sleep gas mine. It even caught me, and I was outside its AoE on the ground. And sleep gas mines are a very effective way to put on choke points, and if they're triggered, they're stunned, and you can go for Scanner EX. That being said, I switched to the Blade skill. Let me find a different bot here. Should be one under here. So, the same idea of corner camping with CQC can also apply to using CQC 1 and Blades free. Now, the knife lunge of Blades free is extremely quick. In fact, you can just run up to someone and hit them with something like that and stun them. Or instead of using the stun, you can go for the R1. Just instantly kill someone. Blades free can be extremely powerful if you catch someone by surprise. But the idea of using CQC 1 and Blades free means that you can grab someone and hold them, and you get access to a unique kill animation where you slit their throat. The time required to do so is very, very low, meaning if you catch someone in Team Sneak like this, you're pretty much guaranteed a kill, provided they don't have a teammate right next to them to save them. You do lose access to scanning, and it is a heavy investment using free slots for Blades free, but it can still be very, very effective. Like I said, there are people who can tell you a lot more about using knives than me, but I think this gives a general broad overview of the different uses of CQC and the kind of ideas and choke points you may want to incorporate the idea with, and using different support weapons like traps to narrow down where they can attack from, to then grab them, isolate them, scan them, or knife them. And with that, I think we're done here.